Now let's take a look at the Rain FlatHead series. Now what's interesting about this is this comes in two variations. The 400B, which is this model here, basic bicolor, cool and warm, and then everything in between. The other version, the 400C, is RGB AL, which is red, green, blue, amber, and lime, which gives you a much broader range and truer colors as you go through all the different color options that you'd want to use on set. The Rain FH400 series has a few really interesting, powerful features. One being dual mounting system. The beauty of this is you can use the larger G7, just like the R1200, and this gives you the optimized light output for a Cobb style light. But it also has built in, closer to the center of the Cobb, a standard balance, which gives you the flexibility to use all your common modifiers. So this gives you a really huge range of possibilities when designing your lighting. Secondly, it's IP65 rated, so it's strongly water resistant and basically dust proof. The other cool feature is a reimagining of a Cobb light system. We've seen this before, but it's never been that thin. The Rain 400 FlatHead series features the G7 mount, which again is optimized for Cobb style lighting. Balance mounts that it also does come with were never intended for a flat, smaller lighting surface. They were intended for strobes that would protrude a bit more. So they're never really optimized for this kind of design, which is why GVM developed a G7, which gives you optimization for this type of lighting. However, the balance mount does still work, it's just not perfect. So even if you need to use an accessory, it's still available to you. The FH400B flatheads also feature the quick release yoke system. This allows for simple transport, storage, or easy rigging. The innovative design of the FH400B brings the traditional Cobb style light into a new, more modern design. This flat, thin design allows you to stack them in storage, allows you to create a panel array if you need to with a special yoke that can hold 4 or 6 units together. And the beauty of it really is that when removed from the yoke, these flat bottoms allow it to sit on the shelf, on the rows and racks of your truck, or line up into a nice, neat, organized array on set. Here on the back of the FlatHead 400, you can actually see that the entirety of the back is one giant heatsink. That's what enabled such a slim design. With an active cooling fan that's very large, it also allows it to run at a very low RPM, and that gives you that silent operation, or at least very, very quiet operation. You do have within it settings to turn the fan mode to silent if you want for very, very delicate scenes, but generally its cooling system is barely audible. It runs with a simple LCD screen to give you your menu options, as well as a very simple 2-button design with 1 dial knob for selections. It also features simple menus. This light mode brings you into intensity and color. DMX settings for all your controls for wireless or wired DMX control. Your dimming curve, let's select between logarithmic or linear curves. Frequency, this lets you dial in the frequency of the engine so that you can match better to high-speed shooting. Of course, your fan settings gives you the options of Smart, which operates the fan to maintain optimal performance, High mode for high heat environments, and Silent for the more delicate work on set with dialogue. Your Bluetooth setting allows you to use the app to do controls as well as effect functions. And studio mode, lastly, is sort of a memory function that saves all your settings. So when you turn it on and off, it returns back to the exact same place every time. One of my favorite features on the FlatHead 400 are these 4 mounting points in the corners. They're 3/8 inch threaded, and generally they're used to assemble them into an array. Now you can create the array with a special yoke that's 2 panels wide, 4 panels, even a 6-panel array. But there's a secondary function. These give you mounting points to use for rigging and rigging them into places that are unconventional or places where a stand won't function. Like for example, a car rig or something in an aircraft or tight spaces, anywhere where you need to create a custom rigging situation to mount a light with over 400 watts of power that's slim and flat that you can tuck into a tight space, this is the light for you. As you can see on the bottom are these small user interchangeable modules that allow for different kinds of connectivity for DMX control. This unit has 5-pin in and out currently installed. The FlatHead 400 comes with a Bluetooth wireless connectivity built in. However, should your workflow require it, or if you desire, you can always purchase the modules separately. This is an example of the interchangeable modules that are available for the FlatHead 400 series. The unit will come with the Bluetooth module, which allows for connection to the app and other Bluetooth accessories. This is a CRMX wireless DMX module. This is the wired 5-pin module, and this is a wired 5-pin module that also has Bluetooth built in. Depending on your workflow and your specific needs, you can choose to purchase one or all of them, but generally know that you will come with Bluetooth. When choosing to assemble an array of units into either an overhead rig or rigged up into a grid, it comes with these adapters that include a pipe clamp. Into these 4 holes fit these small pins. The pins very quickly mount into the rigging point on the back. And through the nature of the design, you have options. When you have 4 of them together, as this one has 4 holes for 4 pins, you can continue to extrapolate this in any direction and continue to add more pins and adapters. You can create 6 lights, 12 lights, 24 lights, 32 lights, as many as you desire in any direction, in any arrangement. These are sort of the ones that run on the ends to finish off the bottom or the top of your array. These connect the centerpieces together and hold them in a solid, secure connection. Now that the pins have been affixed, and this is merely for demonstration purposes, if you were to really hang this from a grid, you would want to add additional pins here and here in order to extend the pipe through and give proper structural support. The end pieces here and here, these 2-pin sections, would allow a pipe to support the edges and give you a stronger hold. The best way to attach them is to depress the release pins before inserting. This ensures a strong bond. So now you would be able to have 3 pieces of pipe to hang from. Now let's take a look at the steps on how to assemble the 4-light yoke. Now we're going to demonstrate how to actually connect the 2 units together to fit them into the yoke. You would use this connecting bracket into these holes here and here, and it gives you a strong connection between the 2 lights. The first step is to remove one of the quick release yoke mounts on either of the lights. Only one, you don't need to remove both. Removing the quick release yoke mount is as simple as these 4 2.5mm Allen screws. You can set these aside in a baggie to keep them from getting lost. Now that the yoke quick release is removed, you can see the 2 units fit together very tightly. This allows you to use the bracket and connect to these 2 screw holes. It's generally best to have the orientation of this facing upward. As you can see, it sort of extends on one side. This gives you the most mobility when the power adapters are attached to this. Once the screws are in, don't tighten them too much until you get the second piece in. This way you get a little bit of flexibility to make sure everything aligns correctly. Now that they're finger tight, you'll find that they set nicely. Now you can go in and snug them up. And that's it. The assembly of the two units is complete. When preparing the FH400s for the 4-light bracket, all you have to do is repeat the process you just saw twice, so that you create 2 rows. When preparing the units for the 6-light bracket, you simply repeat the process you just saw 3 times to create 3 rows. The first step is you take your yoke base and you drop it into a junior receiver stand. The second step is you attach your 2 yoke arms. You then remove the cotter pin from the retainer pin, line up the hole, and put the retainer pin through. For safety, you attach the cotter pin, and this prevents it from exiting. And you repeat the process for the other arm on the other side. So you take 1 row of lights, and you make sure that your quick releases are open, and all you do is align them. And you repeat the process for the top. The 4-light array gives you 4 400-watt lights, which equals to about 1600 watts of LED power. This is great for locations work because you can draw and run all 4 lights off of one household circuit. This gives you a lot of power and a lot of flexibility when lighting interior scenes. The benefits of splitting up your power across 4 400-watt lights versus one 1600-watt light is that overall the light efficiency is higher, so you get more brightness, better efficiency, cooler operation, and it gives you a ton of power to be able to fill a larger piece of diffusion more easily. The 4 400-watt lights combined into a 1600-watt single unit, such as you see here, enables you to use smaller location generators. So you take this out into the wild, into the woods, into the desert, by the ocean, a small generator will be able to run this light, and you can have a lot of power in a very small package. To help control the light out of this unit, you have a couple of options. You can use the included standard reflector, or an optional intensifier. This gives you a softer fall off and approximately doubles the intensity of what comes out of the lighting cob. The connecting brackets we previously installed include a V-lock adapter. This lets you organize and simply connect the power bricks directly to the back of the unit. This gives you a simple, efficient, and clean build. Included within your kit, whether it's a 4 or 6 light setup, are these brackets. They attach into this corner section with 2 screws that hold it here and a screw on the bottom. And this will enable you to use an upcoming softbox attachment to turn all of the units into one. Now let's take a look at the steps necessary to assemble the 6-light yoke. Step 1, you grab your base. You insert it into a junior stand. You grab the first of your arms and you secure it with a security pin and cotter pin. And you repeat the process for the other arm on the other side. Now that you have your arms in place, it's important to make sure the bracket is securely tightened so it doesn't move, and your quick release brackets are sort of arrow pointing up. That way they'll orient with the quick releases on the lights. Grab your first row of lights, and again, make sure that quick release brackets are open. You simply line them up. Lock them in place, and repeat the process 2 more times. Each of the connecting brackets has a little V-lock adapter for the power adapters. Easiest way to do this is to make sure you install the lower one of the pair first. That way there's enough space to drop the second one on top. And then this will leave you space to put the second one in from the top. The interesting thing about this 6-light unit is that when you need it, you have 2400 watts of power in one unit that you can roll around your studio or your set. However, if you don't need that much power, remember, it's still 6 400 watt lights, so you could split them up, light an entire set, or combine them back together and create one giant source. Additionally, in an upcoming accessory, there are small brackets that attach to the 4 corners. This allows you to connect what will soon be available, a very large softbox, turning the 6 units into one. This setup is really great for studios, small production companies, and people with rental trucks. It's really designed to break down, move around for easy storage, but be able to assemble back together and give you a lot of power on the go. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this information useful when trying out your new products. If you have any further questions, visit gvm.led.com.